In this video, I'm gonna show you how to quickly fix your iPad if it doesn't turn on. This might be due to different reasons. It might be due to your iPad being stuck here on the charging logo when you try connecting your charger into your iPad. It might be also the case that your iPad is stuck here on the Apple boot loop, which is also known as stuck on the Apple loop, where you're actually unable to turn on your iPad because it keeps on restarting and getting stuck in here. Or in last case, you might be having an iPad that simply doesn't turn on and it's simply stuck here on the black screen, which is the most complicated situation, I would say. This is also known as the dead screen scenario. But do not worry, because all the steps that I'll be showing to you today in this video are gonna help you fixing your iPad if you face any of these issues. Hey, my name is Shaq, and in this channel I help you fixing tech related issues. So if you're into tech content, consider subscribing here to the YouTube channel. The idea of this video is to help you not spending money, because if you take your iPad to a service center, to an Apple service center or a repair store, the very first thing they're gonna do are exactly the steps that I'll be showing to you in this video. So before taking your iPad to an Apple service center, try these steps at home, because in most cases you can actually fix your iPad on your own and save a lot of money that you would be spending with repair stores or Apple service center. So without any further ado, let's jump straight into the tutorial. Now, the very first thing that I would recommend you guys to do is actually try replacing your charging cable, okay? So try replacing your charging cable by a brand new one or a different one and see if the problem gets fixed. Another thing you should also consider doing is actually switching the charging sockets as well. So try to move from one socket to another one, and also try alternating the cables, connecting this charger cable into this socket or this charger's cable into this socket as well. This is something really important for you to do, just to double check that we're not going through a charger issue situation in here. Now, as you guys know, we've got in here nowadays Type-C chargers, and in the past we had a lot of USB to Lightning charging sockets. Do not worry, anything works, whether you're gonna try the USB one or the Type-C one. Do not worry, this depends on you, as long as you're trying to connect a different charger into your iPad device right there. Now, if the very first step didn't help you, we're moving into the second step, where we'll be performing a forced restart here on your Apple device. Now, first thing is first, do not worry, you won't lose any data or any information here, which is in your iPad device. So do not worry, just follow the steps that I'm showing to you carefully. Now, in order to hard restart your iPad device, we do have two different ways of doing this, and this depends on your iPad model. If you've got an older version of an iPad which has in here an inbuilt home button, you're gonna be following the first procedure. In my case, I've got in here an iPad mini and I've got in here my home button, so you're gonna follow the first procedure. Now, if you've got a much newer iPad which doesn't have the home button inbuilt on it, you're gonna be following the second procedure that I'll be showing it to you right now. So starting with the first procedure, if you've got an iPad with the home button, all you need to do is press the power button here on top along with the home button right here. So you're gonna press both of the buttons simultaneously and you're gonna hold it until you see the Apple logo here on the screen. Here we go, 1, 2, 3. I'm pressing and holding both of the buttons, so keep on holding them simultaneously. Once you see the Apple logo, release both of the buttons and let your iPad turn on. Now, as I said in the beginning of the video, your iPad can also be stuck in here. Do not worry, just keep on watching the tutorial till the end. Now, if you've got a much newer iPad, as I've said, without the home button right here, the process is the following. You need to quickly tap on volume up and then quickly tap on volume down and then press and hold the power button right here until you see the Apple logo. So I'm gonna showcase it to you right now. It goes like this: up, down, and then press and hold the power button until you see the Apple logo in here. So do not release the power button, okay? So it's basically volume up, volume down, and then press and hold the power button until you see the Apple logo on your screen, okay? Now, this needs to be done rapidly. You need to tap up, tap down, and quickly press and hold the power button. This needs to be done quickly, and you shouldn't be having a lot of delay, just the way I did it. Now, this is exactly how you perform the forced restart here on your iPad device. Now, if forced restarting your iPad doesn't help you fixing the problem that you've got, we're moving into the third step right here, where we're gonna need toothpicks. Okay, we're gonna need toothpicks. In my case, I've gotten here my toothpicks, as you guys can see. And make sure that you only perform this step with toothpicks, because it's important that we use some wooden type of material in here. Okay, so what we're going to be doing in here is pretty simple. We're going to take one toothpick. Here we go. I've got my toothpick right here. We're going to take the iPad and we're going to make sure that we clean the charging port right here. So one thing that happens a lot is that the charging port in here gets a lot of dust and gets dirty. And this actually creates a few issues when we're trying to charge our iPad. So it might be the case that your iPad is just not turning on because it's not charging. So in order to clean in here the charging port, we're going to be inserting the toothpick here in order to remove as much lint as we can. So this is going to be the movement. Put it inside and push it to the left. Okay, to the left, to the left, to the left. You're going to be performing this as much as you can, and in most cases you're going to be having here some lint or dust coming out of your charging port. This is something very common on Apple devices, and this is something that we need to clean actually periodically. Every 6 months, every 8 months, make sure you perform this step on your iPhone or iPad to clean your charging port. And then flip your iPad and perform the exactly same step, but from the opposite side. Okay, this is how it goes. And as you guys can see in here, we've got a bit of lint in here. It's a bit dark here at the corner. I don't know if it's visible. I believe it's visible. So this is a little bit of dust that we're actually removing from our iPad device. So once you do this, you're gonna try connecting your charging cable with the socket, of course, and try to see if your iPad starts charging or if it turns on. Now, if it doesn't work, we're moving into the next step. So this next step is specific for people stuck here on this screen right here, which says that your iPad is not charging and consequently it won't turn on. So if you are facing this screen right here, I would recommend you guys to keep your iPad charging for 4 to 5 hours continuously without touching the cable, without touching the iPad. Just keep it sleeping with the charger connected for 4 to 5 hours. And if you still keep on seeing this screen right here, the problem is exactly lying in your battery, and you need to have your battery replaced. Now, if your battery is the case, I would recommend you guys to get it replaced at an Apple service center only, and do not try replacing it at home unless you know exactly what you're doing. Okay, now in case your iPad is actually stuck here on the Apple boot loop, this means that your problem is most probably linked to a software issue, and in order to fix the software issue, if this is the case, you should follow the steps that I'll be showing to you here on the ultimate step. Unfortunately, this step is gonna erase all your data. This last step is a step that if you're going to perform, you're gonna lose your information in your iPad. Unfortunately, if you had the backup done before, then you'll be able to actually restore the backup. But if you've never done a backup, you're gonna lose all your information. The second thing that I need to tell you guys is that in order to perform this step, you're gonna need a computer. It can be either a MacBook or a PC. It doesn't matter as long as you've got an iPad device, a computer, and internet connection in order to perform the second step, which is the restore of your iPad device. Now, moving into the last step where we're going to perform a complete restore here of our iPad device. The very first thing we need to do is make sure that we've got our iPad, of course. We'll also need a USB cable. In my case, I've got in here a brand new USB cable, and then we're going to need a computer. Okay, now over here, if you've got a computer with a USB port, you can use a cable like mine with a USB entrance. But if you've got a computer which has a Type-C entrance instead of the USB entrance like mine in here, you can also use a Lightning to Type-C cable in order to connect your iPad into your computer. It doesn't matter at all. And once again, it doesn't matter whether you've got a Windows PC or a MacBook device. Both of the computers are gonna work for this. Now, please note that we've got in here two procedures, okay? The very first one is for people having a PC, a Windows PC, or a MacBook with an operating system equivalent to macOS Mojave or earlier, okay? So anything that comes before Mojave will follow the first procedure. And the second procedure is for people who do have MacBooks with a much recent operating system, which is something that has came later than Mojave. In my case, I'll be performing the second procedure because I've got a MacBook in here with a much recent software, okay? But if you've got an older version, you just need to follow the first procedure. Do not worry, I'll be showing you both of the procedures in this video. So here we are, I'm here on my MacBook device. Okay, in my case, I've got in here a MacBook Air, and just to showcase it to you guys, as you guys can see in here, I'm running macOS Big Sur, okay, which is something that has came after macOS Mojave, okay. I'll start from the first procedure, which is the one for people who do have macOS Mojave or earlier or a Windows PC. In the very first procedure, it's pretty simple. You just need to download iTunes and make sure that you're running the updated version, the latest version of iTunes, and then you'll follow the same steps that I'll be showing here next, because the rest of the tutorial is gonna be the same thing as the second procedure, okay? Now, in order to download iTunes, you just need to tap in the link in the description box below in order to download iTunes and install it into your computer. The second procedure is the following. If you've got a software like mine or a much recent one, you don't need to install iTunes because actually iTunes has been discontinued, okay? So in much recent computers, you do not need iTunes. So next up, let's follow the next steps, which are exactly the same in both of the procedures. We're gonna hop into our internet browser, and then we're gonna hop into this website right here, which is ipsw.me. Do not worry because the link to this website is in the description box below as well. So once we open up this website right here, we're gonna scroll down and then we're gonna select the device that we've got. In our case, we're talking about an iPad, right? We're gonna tap here on iPad, and this is the website from where we're gonna download the operating system because we're gonna install a brand new operating system into our iPad. So over here, you need to carefully select the model of iPad that you've got, your iPad model. If you have any doubt, please Google it online and try to see the box of your device to find out exactly which iPad model you've got. In my case, for example, I've got in here an iPad mini Wi-Fi, which is this one. I'm gonna select, and once you tap on it, it's gonna show you a list of softwares, okay? So you wanna make sure that you download the latest one, which is the one with a green tick here on top. So we're gonna tap it once, and then we're gonna scroll down and tap here on download. As you guys can see, operating systems usually do occupy gigabytes, so this is gonna consume a little bit of your internet, and depending on your internet speed, it might take 5 minutes all the way to an hour or 2 hours accordingly. So simply tap here on download, and as you guys can see, it says that the download will begin shortly. Let's just wait for a couple seconds. And as you guys can see here, the download has started. Here we go. With my internet speed, it says that it's gonna take me up to 30 minutes. So let's wait until this software is complete. So once the software download is complete, we're gonna open up the downloads folder in here. In my case, here's my download folder, and this is the file that I've just downloaded. As you guys can see, iPad mini 9.3.5, 13 gigabytes, 36 IPSW. This is my operating system. Now, once you've downloaded this, we're moving into the next step where we need to connect our iPad into our computer device, but we need to be very careful while performing this. So here we go. I would like to recommend you guys that you make sure that you're using an original cable or a really good quality cable, because you want to make sure that your process of installing the software doesn't get interrupted in the middle. Otherwise, this might cause another complications. Okay, so make sure you've got a good USB cable. In my case, I even decided to buy a brand new cable just to showcase it to you how this works. We usually do have two types of cables. We've got charging only cables, and then we've got charging and data cables. So make sure you're running a data cable so that you can actually transfer data from your computer into your iPad device. Because if you've got a charging only cable, it will only charge when you connect it into your laptop, and it won't transfer any data or install any software. So please pay attention in this. If you're connecting your iPad into your computer and it's not showing up, try switching the cable into a different one. Now here we go. In my case, I've got in here a MacBook Air, and the very first thing we're gonna be doing is actually connect the computer end of the cable, and then while connecting the other end into your iPad device, if you've got an iPad device with a home button just like mine, you're gonna connect, and immediately you're gonna press and hold the home button along with the power button until you see the recovery DFU screen right here. But if you've got a much newer iPad device without the home button, all you need to do is rapidly tap on volume up, rapidly tap on volume down, and then press and hold the power button as soon as you connect the USB cable, and this needs to be done quickly. Okay, so it's gonna be something like 1, 2, and then press and hold the power button, obviously after connecting the USB cable. Now since I've got an iPad with a home button in here, this is how it goes. 1, 2, 3. I've connected, and immediately pressing both of the buttons here without releasing them. You keep on pressing those buttons until you see the recovery screen here on your iPad. It's gonna pop up in a while. Just wait for a couple more seconds. Keep on waiting. And here we go. We've got in here our recovery screen in here, which says connect your iPad into iTunes, or it means that it's already connected into iTunes. So once we're here into the screen, we're good to go. We're gonna leave our iPad aside, and we'll move immediately into our MacBook or our PC device. Okay, so here we are in my MacBook, and the very first thing we're gonna be doing in here is, let me just close this, close this, close this. In the first procedure, if you've got a Windows PC or if you've got a macOS Mojave or earlier software, we're gonna open up iTunes, okay? But in my case, since I've got a much recent software, I'm gonna open up Finder. So in the first procedure, you open up iTunes, but in the second procedure, you open up Finder. So here we go. We're gonna tap here on Finder, and then we're gonna see iPad right here. So you're gonna select iPad. In your case, as soon as you open up iTunes, you're gonna be able to see this screen right here. So once we're here, we need to tap here on Restore iPad. But before tapping on Restore iPad, there's a little trick in here. Before tapping on Restore iPad, we need to press and hold the Option button in here, and then tap on Restore iPad. On Windows PC computers, you'll be holding the Shift key instead of the Option key. So here we go, I'm pressing the key, and then I'll tap on Restore iPad, and once you do that, a new window is gonna open up, which will allow us to actually select the downloaded operating system from ipsw.me. So let me go into download, and as you guys can see, here's my operating system, iPad mini 935. So select the operating system and then tap on open. Now all we need to do is click once again on Restore, because it says your Mac will erase and restore your iPad and will verify the restore with Apple. Simply tap on Restore, and then the restoration process is gonna start. As you guys can see, we've got in here extracting software, and this is gonna take us 15 to 20 minutes actually. Meanwhile, while this process is actually taking place, make sure you do not move your computer or do not touch the USB cable. Otherwise, this might create a connectivity issue, and the only thing you want to avoid is actually miscommunication while the update is going on, because this might create a few issues on our iPad. As you guys can see here on my iPad screen, we've got in here a progress bar, which means that the process of installation is taking place, and this is where you can actually track the progress. Okay, so you've also gotten here on your MacBook screen our progress bar right here. Okay, so all we need to do is just sit back, relax, and wait till this gets completed. So once the process is complete, you'll be able to see here on your screen a message which says that your iPad has been restored to factory settings and is restarting. Please leave your iPad connected. It will appear in the sidebar after it restarts. So make sure you do not disconnect your iPad right now. All you need to do is just sit back, relax, and wait, and you should still be able to see a progress bar here on your iPad device. Well, this is a new progress bar actually, which restarted it, which is the process of your iPad actually verifying the software that you've just installed to make sure that it's something legit. Okay, so all we need to do is just sit back, wait, and relax. So here we go. After waiting for a couple minutes, your iPad should be here on the hello screen, which appears in different languages in here, which means that your software has been successfully installed. So over here, we just need to actually quickly set up our iPad device by simply swiping it right, okay, and then selecting here the language that we wish to use here in our iPad. So we're going to tap here in English, that's my case. You're going to select your region according to where you're actually located. Let me select United States. And next up, it's going to ask you to connect into a Wi-Fi network so that your iPad can actually connect into it and make sure that it does the authentication. And it says that it may take me a few minutes to activate my iPad. All we need to do is just sit back, relax, and wait. And then here we are on the next step. So right now it's requiring me my Apple ID. As you guys can see, it says that iPad is actually locked because when I did the restore process, I had an iCloud Apple ID logged into my device. So for security purposes, Apple asks us to log in with those credentials. Let me quickly log in into my iPad iCloud ID. So once this is done, we're going to tap on next, and then it's going to ask us for location services. Simply tap on enable location services, and then it's going to ask you to create a passcode. I'm going to create right now 0000. Next up, we've got in here the most important part, where we can actually restore our iCloud backup. As I've said before in the beginning of the video, if you've got a backup done, you can actually restore from your iCloud. You can also restore from your iTunes or your Finder if you've got a much newer MacBook software, or you can actually set it up as a new iPad. In my case, I'll set it up as a new iPad, and then I need to sign in once again into my Apple ID. In my case, I'll tap on don't have because I don't want to log in with an Apple ID right now. I'll tap here on setup later in settings. Okay, setup later in settings, and then don't use. Here we go. It's going to ask us to agree with the terms and conditions. Tap here on agree, and then you can turn on Siri if you would like to. I'll turn it on later. I'll tap on don't send, and then welcome to your iPad, got started. Here we go. Congratulations, you've just fixed your iPad here with the ultimate step if this is the case. Thank you so much for making it till the end of the video. If you found this video really helpful and supportive, please do leave a comment down below, like the video, and let me know in the comment section which step actually helped you fixing the problem that you've got. Thank you so much for watching Fixed by Shaq, and I'll see you in the next one. Have a great day.